Hello, everyone, and welcome to this today's session. When we first started teaching abroad, we knew that there were things that were prepared for people who didn't look like us. So all decided that we'll come together and talk about what to expect, our experiences, and everything in between, so that you will not be walking into it blindly. Now, this doesn't only apply to teachers, even though this is a teaching channel, but living abroad, working abroad, being expats. Notice I use the word expat and not migrant. We are expats because who's an expat? An expat is someone who goes to another country, works, and earns money. A migrant is someone who has been displaced from his country. We are not migrants, but that's a topic for another video. Today, I've got two wonderful teachers with me who are going to be sharing their experience of working in the diaspora. If you were here with us last week, you would know what we're talking about. And we got a few people saying that they were scared. So today we're going to be sharing a little bit more, shedding more light into what it means to be an expat teacher in the diaspora. And I hope that today you would leave here not scared, but determined and inspired. I'll let my beautiful moderators uh, introduce themselves. So we'll start with Oyin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Onyinye Anikwe, and I am a UK and US licensed teacher currently based in the UK. And yes, I'm happy to be here again.
Fantastic, Oyin. Thank you. You didn't talk about your beauty channel.
Yes, Onyido Anikwe. So I create content around skincare, and I've been sharing my experience teaching in in the diaspora. So you want to go, subscribe, and don't forget to click on the notification bell.
In my recent video, I talked about makeup and I was thinking about you. Like, we can't come into the diaspora looking like clowns. We have to look gorgeous, you know? And today we put a lot of effort into it. The next person you all need to know, because she's got wisdom about working in the UK and agencies, especially, you need to check her channel out because she's just released a new video on um, agencies that you need to check out. I'll let her introduce herself. Momi, take it away.
Hi guys, you're welcome back to another live video. So my name is Omowumi and I'm a licensed teacher from Nigeria and I also hold a license to teach in the UK. I'm a supply teacher, and I have a YouTube channel as well where I talk about teaching abroad and the lifestyle. So please like, subscribe, and share. Please like this video as well. Please like and subscribe to our channels.
Fantastic. Before we start today's segment, this is a call to action for any international school teachers out there. No matter where you are as an international school teacher, it means you're working in the diaspora. I would like to hear from you as well, because it's not just us sharing our ideas and our experience on this channel. We would like to invite other people. So maybe each week we'll have someone on the channel just to throw in some spice into everything that we're saying and to corroborate our story. Now, ladies, today, since Onye the beauty person is here with us today, I wanted to throw in something that I found that I don't know if you guys have experienced it as well. Every time I change my hair, this is the reason why I changed my hair today. Every time I change my hair, it's as if my colleagues don't recognize me. Does that happen to you?
For me, I actually wear my natural hair most of the time when I go to school. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I find that sometimes when I change my maybe from cornrows to maybe a twist or I pack up my hair, I notice that especially maybe the kids will ask, why do you look
Yeah.
different? Or some colleagues might walk past and not really recognize me as, quickly because I think with most of them they wear the same look every single day. But you know
Yes.
how we like to spice up our look, right? We like to go from looking blonde to looking black to wearing straight
Yes,
hair.
please.
curly
Stacy
hair,
did.
you know. So, um, it comes as a surprise to most of them, and they can't just wrap their head around why do you guys, like to change your look? And that's because we like to spice things up. That's just who we are.
It's funny because even the men, there was a guy at one of the schools where I've worked because I'm the international school teacher and I'm the Ajalat teacher. You know, the guy had a haircut. He came into school and everybody lost their minds. Oh, and I'm like, it's the same shape of the shape of his face didn't change. It's just the haircut. He just trimmed the hair off. Mommy, have you experienced that? Please, please, please tell us that it's not just us, the international school teachers, that are experiencing this. Because
Well, I experienced that with my students actually, because I love purple, and sometimes I experienced this last week. It started on Monday because I made this last, I think, 2 weeks now. So, and we had at half term holiday 2 weeks, and then we resumed back on Monday. So when they saw me with purple hair, it might not show well in this video, but it's purple mixed with black 33 and color 33 and all that. So I love mixing my colors. But like, oh, this nice hair. This is, what color is this? What did you mix? And throughout last week, I'll tell you, I kept on repeating myself. It's purple with 33, with black, and all that. And I also had it like a gold, like a gold thing in my hair. No, they were like, "Is this real gold?" Is I just kept on explaining and explaining. And the amazing thing is just that on Friday I had a class with my sense student, and wow, purple with sense students is like unique. When they saw purple, wow, they just went on and on talking about it. And well, it's fun though.
oh my gosh, oh my gosh! But they changed their hair too. People change their hair. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't get it. But and do they stick their hands in your hair? Because they do that to me, and I'm like,
Yeah,
hold
yeah,
on.
yeah. The kids. Well, sometimes I just, it depends on my, I'll say on the environment. Sometimes I just, can I touch? That's one thing with students. They will ask you, can I touch it? Just a tip, not touching my head though. Can I touch it? Yeah, you can touch it.
The little kids don't ask before touching. Like,
No, they don't. They
I'll have
just
to
dive
very
into it.
braid
Like,
my hair and you know.
Yeah.
I mean, me, I would have, it takes us time to get our head this way. Especially when it's natural, you're trying to make sure that it defies gravity, but it doesn't defy common sense. And then you've managed to put it in a way, and then they come and put their hand in it. It just annoys me. But for some reason, being an international school teacher is like being an ambassador for where you're from, especially if you look like this. So they're constantly looking at you thinking, oh, why is she being mean? Why? I'm not being mean. I just don't like to be touched like an animal in the zoo. Don't touch me, please. Ask me. And if I say no, if you touch me, I will touch yours. And they're like, no, then don't touch me then. Don't touch me. I don't want to be touched. I'm not, don't pet me. Go to the petting zoo if you want to pet an animal. That kind of thing. But it's all good. We're all ambassadors. And so I guess, you know. Now, what another curious thing that I found is that I don't even know how to put this now. Does it happen to you, or when you do something they just assume that all black people do that? Does that happen to you?
Yeah, it's the stereotype, and I think it's not just with international schools. I think it's with the world generally. Even remember, even back home, you hear things like, "Oh, Yoruba people are like this, Igbo people are like this, Hausa people are
Yeah.
like this." Yeah, so that's why it's good that we represent. Just see yourself as an ambassador, right, wherever you are, because anything you do wrong kind of spoils it for every other person coming after you. And that's why we're doing these videos we've been doing, so that right from the CVs you send out, we don't want
Yes.
to send in impressions that, you know, Nigerians or blacks are a certain way, just based on the fact that the CVs that we send out for jobs doesn't really isn't really good enough, right?
Yes.
So um it's it's not just, we get that. Just know that you're an ambassador wherever you are, and whatever it is you're doing might spoil it for all the other people coming after you. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so I've gotten that thing with, maybe when you get to a place, because of the experience they've had with previous, maybe
Hmm.
Nigerians that
Yeah.
have come, they don't feel comfortable, especially when you're going in as an agency staff, which is what
Yes.
most
Mhm.
Africans, when we get into the diaspora, like in the diaspora, most times we start as agency staff, either teaching or in any other sector where we are. um Based, okay, like there was somewhere I went to, and this nursery I've been going to for a while, and I noticed they were always talking about agency, agency, agency. And I witnessed it firsthand myself. A lady came in to work there, and there was this child that was still struggling to integrate into the classroom because he has never been to school before, and he was
Yes.
usually carried at home. So he would usually cry, and they were trying not to pick him up a lot so that he can adjust to doing things by himself.
Yeah.
And this agency staff walks in. So when I walked in, the first day I noticed the child. So I just had to go to the lady who was the nursery teacher there. And I'm like, oh, what's up with this child? Why is he? So she kind of explained, which is one thing you do when you walk into a room, you want to understand the kids. And the
Yes.
best way to do that is to ask questions, ask
Question.
the person in charge of that room.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do here? What's my role? What kids do you want me to support? In what capacity do you
Exactly.
want me to support them? So know exactly what you're doing. Don't just assume things and start doing things. So this lady walks into the room. So the lady told me, oh, this particular kid is right. So she just explained everything to me, and I knew, okay, I'm not to pick up this child just because he's crying.
Yeah.
Like we have a goal for him. So I had to just, you know, naturally go with the goal, the expectation for that child. But the other lady walks into the room and sees the boy crying. She just goes ahead to, because the boy will come towards you, and she just picks up the child. And the teacher wasn't finding it funny. But that's the
No.
thing. She didn't also, because it's also her job to let the person who's
Safeguard.
working with
Yeah.
her that day know what the expectation for each of these kids are. But most times they won't do that. So you need to be asking questions. Yeah. So
I
it's
think
what it is.
Yeah, I think Mom we covered that last week when we first. I think at first we said don't ask too many questions so that you don't look like you don't know anything at all because you're supposed to be a professional and you're coming here in a professional capacity. So asking some kind of mundane questions will just set people's alarms going, you know. But then
But
Mom we clarified and
yeah,
said there are some kind of questions that you should ask. And yes, we totally agree. And Oyin has just consolidated on that now. Okay. Mommy, do you have any take on that?
Yeah, I think the reason why they feel that way is because I would say some blacks has actually spoiled the name, because I was in a school, I think last year, late last year, I was there, I was supplied there constantly. And it was
Yeah.
about time the students wanted to write the assessment. And then they got the booklet and they were like, no, 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 they were all over the classroom. Miss, you're the only one that have been teaching us. You're the only one that has been, you're the best supply we've had. In fact, there was one particular guy, we came from the same agency. They described him that I knew he was the one. They said he doesn't do anything. He keeps pressing his phone in the classroom. I was mute. I
And
couldn't
those
say
children
anything.
can talk, eh? Those children, and
Yes.
it doesn't stop at school. They will take it home and tell their parents, and the next thing you're on the subject of the parents' WhatsApp group. Oh my
Exactly.
lord.
and the
Exactly.
agency won't send you to that school anymore, but you don't
That's
know the reason why that's
the
happening.
reason. Exactly. And
Uh,
if this agency, if they start getting complaint from one, from two, from three, from four, you just see, oh, now they are not calling me for.
yes.
They won't even tell you that this is what you've done. You just see they will tell you, oh, supply
No
has been on,
jobs.
yeah, has been
No
on the, oh,
jobs.
now
Yeah.
know you've done something. because
And then
schools we always need supply at some point, because we cannot all, even we supply teachers, we cannot all work 365 days. Teachers will fall sick, there'll be maternity leave and all that. So just know something is wrong. So I think all these things has actually painted Africans in a bad way with the experience they have, and you cannot blame them. I was also in a school whereby I the teachers, they, with the way they saw me, it was like, this one cannot know anything.
Yes,
Exactly,
they
that was what I,
already they yeah.
yeah. They don't even really associate much, because they will just give you, even sometimes they will come to my class and say, oh, okay, the technicians have brought this for practical. Don't worry, you might not do it. You might not. I'll say, no,
Yeah.
it's fine. I'll say, no, it's fine. I can do it. Then they started watching, because they will watch you. There was a
Yes.
particular class I covered, it was physics, and the teacher, when she was leaving, she said, oh, you can just get on, and if you can't get on, it's fine. When she came and saw the workings on the board, she was amazed. I could see it on her face. She was like, wow. The following morning, she was the first person to greet me. I knew the reason.
The
So I would
respect
just,
level just elevates when they see that,
yeah,
oh, you are not one of them. And I hate it. I
exactly.
mean, they tell me, oh, Johnny, you're not one of them. And it annoys me. What do you mean I'm not one of them? I'm Nigerian, they're Nigerian. But you kind of understand what they mean when they say that. But I just don't like it because I just feel, why are you singling me out? If I do something wrong, you will move me back there. So why can't you treat everyone as an individual? Hmm? You
yeah,
know? So yeah.
and this kind of ties into a point that I put down in my notes about making inputs during discussions, either during staff meetings or um, maybe during lunchtime in the staff room. And it's important also not just to talk, but to talk, say things that are really beneficial, right, and
Yes.
important. So yesterday I was listening to the Diary of a CEO, and she was interviewing a secret agent, and there's something they talked about that really struck me.
I
They
watched
went
that.
talking about working on developing a high contribution score.
Yeah.
So he kind of puts it that if you're the kind of person that each time you talk, what you say doesn't really make so much sense, right? By the time it
Mhm.
happens on, it gets to a point that in a meeting, once you open your mouth to talk, everybody just like looks away. Like they don't give
Exactly.
second thought to what you have to say. And that's
Exactly.
because you don't bring value to the contribution. So your they kind of gauge your inputs, and they're actually listening to know if you make meaningful contributions. But if you're the kind of person who doesn't talk so much, but each time you say something, you're saying something meaningful, once you
Yeah.
open your mouth to speak, everyone stops and listens to you because
Yeah.
they know that you're about to bring something of value again. So it's important
Exactly.
that you're making meaningful contributions, because that way you're also like building your contribution score. Like
Your
people are seeing
credibility. Yeah.
yes. And yes, so if you don't have what to say as well, you should just keep quiet. But
And
make sure that
listen.
yes,
And just listen.
don't
Don't
have
walk
to
away.
talk
Just
all the
listen.
time
Stay there.
instead
Yeah.
of rambling. But whenever you want to speak, make sure that you're making, a meaningful input into the
Okay,
discussion.
so how can we make meaningful input? My suggestion is when you go to a new school, please make sure that you always go to the staff room. Always. Do not run away from the staff room. You don't have to contribute. You don't have to join them and jump into negative talk. Sometimes teachers get into that negative vibe and
Yeah,
they complain about reports, they complain about children, they complain about everything. Please don't join them. Just stay there and listen so that it looks as if, oh, she's here, she's not isolating herself, or he's here, he's not isolating himself. But nobody will ever say, or hold you, this person said blah 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 blah. But in being there, uh, I think anybody who is just there at the time when they're talking will be able to pick up nuances, you'll be able to pick up vibes, you'll be able to pick up gist. And gist goes a long way with teachers. Oh. We're like the children we teach.
yeah,
We are like the children we teach. Sometimes we're worse than the children we teach, but yes. Yeah.
yeah.
At the
That's
same,
that's absolutely true. Yeah.
Another
I
another thing about that. Okay, go on.
I
Sorry.
read this book at some point. It was actually a PD I did as well. What great teachers do differently,
Yeah.
where they talked about trying to filter the negatives, because it's good to stay in the staff room, but like Jay said, don't just hop on any discussion, especially
Conversation.
negative ones, because there's a lot of people that will be against either the management or one policy. There are people that will just complain and complain about every single
And
thing.
now they'll call you a negative Nancy.
Just learn to filter out the negatives, because you don't want to be storing all those negative info
Yeah.
in your head, because it's not going to help you in any way. So
Yeah.
just be
So
mindful.
that brings me to relationship with the people that you work with, because they always look at the relationships that with of they always look at your relationship with the or and how you relate to people that you work with. It's very crucial. They want you to integrate, because they know that a teacher who isolates herself is a teacher who will not last long, a teacher who will not, and they don't want a high turnover, or they don't want a high turnover for a guy that just comes in and says, "Oh, there are so many women here, and I can't join them. I'm going to go and eat." I remember one of the first schools where I worked, I used to go and eat in my car because I just felt, what kind of talk is this? I people are talking. I don't want to join them in this talk. And I'll just go and sit in my car and have lunch. And I even signed up for the gym so that I had 30 minutes of gym. I'll eat, go to the gym, and then come back, or go to the gym, then come back and eat. But I found out that after a month, I was like a stranger in the school. So you still need to build that relationship. So it's like a balance, really. You still need to build the relationship. And even though we said be careful of your TA, that's the first person you need to build a strong relationship with. Your TA is like, it's I had this TA. Oh my god, we're like sisters. We're like best friends, sisters, everything. And I'll be bringing her to my channel very soon. The our line manager will catch me in one corner and ask me a question, and walk down the same corridor and catch her at a separate time and ask her the same question. And we will always say the same thing, because that relationship between a TA and a teacher sets the tone for the classroom. And because it sets the tone for the classroom, school heads, school SLT, they're always looking out to make sure that teachers and TAs blend. They will not remove a TA just because you're not blending. No, please, let's get that clear. No, they will look at you and say you are the problem, because they will count. This TA has worked with this teacher before, there was no problem. This TA has worked with this other teacher before, there was no problem. How come the TA is working with you now and there's a problem? Doesn't matter if the TA has unconscious bias and because of that it's not gelling with you. You have to find a way. The TA will say things to you that you might not like, it might rub you off the wrong way, and you go like, but you have to find a way. You have to find a way to bridge that gap, so that even if you have to fake it, please try, fake it. You have to find a way. It's called conflict resolution. And if you have conflict resolution, you will go very far, and you'll find out that the school will become an easier place for you. When you go home, you can take off your mask like I do, like I said in the last week's episode. Ladies, what do you have to say about that? Have you experienced any TA situation that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, I just want to buttress the point you're making right now. This particular thing we're talking about now, communication, is not something that might come easily for you, because trust me, once, like Jay said last week, her first point was that as soon as she gets into a new country, the first thing that she identifies or notices is the fact that she's the only black person there. So fact is, you just have to make that conscious effort, because once you leave your country, that is when you will really know. You'll be more aware of your identity. You know that
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
different. But something I picked up again yesterday while watching that same documentary is the fact that they said that sometimes the belief that you're being discriminated holds you back more than the discrimination itself,
yes,
right? So
exactly.
when you have that thing in your head that, oh, I'm different, I look different, I speak, I'm the only female, I'm the only black person, you realize that you even show up different because of that, that thing you've built
That
up
hang up,
in
yeah,
your head. Yes. So don't let your race or whatever it is that, don't just add, when it comes to your work, remove emotions from your work.
Yeah.
Are these things really going on? Maybe yes, but would you let it define you? Don't even see it, right? Refuse to believe that it even exists, right? Just know that you have to pay the price to get what you want and put in your best in doing what you need to do. When it comes to communication, you have to make that conscious effort. You need to step out of your comfort zone. You
Yeah.
can make a checklist of things you need to do so that it's not overwhelming.
Yes.
Take it one step at a time. With the person you have in your classroom, that is the first resource you have. And if that person has been there before you, it means that there are a lot of things you need to, also pick up from them. So put your emotions aside and just find a way to relate with colleagues. Even in the staff room, I've gone to a school, that was the second school I worked in. And so I walk into this school, sign up. I was excited. I was supposed to be there for 1 week, although I ended up being there for 3 weeks. And I was supposed to work one on one with a particular kid. But when I got there, the lady said, since he has special needs and he's already with somebody, there's no
Yeah.
point having me work with him. Let that person just continue so that he's already used to this person, right? So I
Yeah.
was sent to a different room to work with, I think, year four students. And these kids were really amazing, quite a handful. Then when we went for break, because I like to go to the staff room during break time, the ladies, I greeted them, but they were into their conversation. They were not aware that I was there. And the guy I was working with, as soon as he walks into the room, the lady goes to him, Mr. ABC, you can keep whatever her name is for the rest of the week. That was the way she addressed me. And I was right there, sitting right there. And the guy froze. The guy is nice, he's amazing. Like, I enjoyed working with him the 3 weeks. The guy froze, like, because he knew what that lady had done wasn't professional. But the
Yeah.
lady was not aware that I was there,
Yeah.
right? Now, this is me in my head, like, is this babe? Are you all right? But then the guy, from the look on the guy's face, she knew she had messed up. And that was when she became aware that I was sitting right behind her.
Well, yeah.
And she froze. So all I did, she could see me from where I was sitting at this point. So I was reading a book and I lifted my head, you know. One part of my head was saying, my was going to say, yes, my name is this, but I was not just in the mood. So I just raised my head up, made eye contact with her, and then went back to, I just needed her to be aware that I'm here and I know what's happening. I've just chosen just to ignore it. Just imagine that kind of situation,
Yeah.
welcoming in a school. I still had to get along with her. I mean,
Of
yeah,
course.
I had to get along with her. So these are some of the things you face. You realize that these things are actually there. But would you think about it all the time? Would you even, there are some things you shouldn't even pay attention to, right? Because the more you think about it, the more you begin to leave it, and then it begins to affect other things. So don't allow the
Yeah.
negative vibe of people bother you. Just focus on things that you can control, and that is how you do your job, how you relate with your colleagues, and let people think what they want to think. That's not your business. You are, yeah, you're not going to be at the mercy of the world. So you have to take ownership of your life to some extent.
But you need to document it. I would advise anybody, if you keep a diary and try to write three things every day about your day. It helped me. Two things that you notice that were good, write it down. Two things that you think need improvement. Two things that you know that should not be done. Now you're writing it for yourself, but also to remember that anything you write down can be used as evidence. I've had a situation of a teacher who was being victimized before, and when she actually came out and said something, people didn't believe her. But then they sat down and looked at her reflection notes. We call it reflection notes. She sat down and looked at her reflection. So she handed her reflection notes over to someone when the case came up. And because of her reflection notes, people were able to see that this didn't start today. And there are some things that she noted down, and you could see that she didn't just sit down and write everything in one day. She wrote it down like a diary. So that's another reason why it would be nice to write it in a professional way. Don't write it as if you're writing to yourself. Ah, that woman, if I just catch her. No, no, no. This happened today. You're being objective. This happened today. I liked it. This happened. It was good. This happened. It was good. This can be changed. The next thing can be changed. These were some of the things that happened that I really do not like. Now, when they looked at her reflection note later, they realized that it was a recurring thing. The same person, they called it unconscious bias in the end, but the evidence was there. So that's why even last week I said if you have any, if you talk to a parent, a child, even to yourself, document it. It always helps. It always helps. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is this reflection note on the lesson, but this time I'm relating it to the lesson plan. Ladies, have you had the experience of your lesson plan being vetted and then you find out that there are no reflection notes on your lesson plan? I don't know if they write reflection plan in Nigeria.
Mhm. I didn't know anything about reflection plan until I started teaching at international school.
Yeah. Where you
So
reflect on the lesson and you talk about what went well, what didn't go well, what you would change for next time.
there's
Do they
actually
write it in Nigeria?
No.
no, no, no. But the
Maybe
truth,
they have started now, but as at the time I left, no. What
and
what we do is learning objective, and that's it.
and
I think,
honestly, yeah,
yeah, sorry, go on.
there's no lesson without reflection. There's really no
None.
lesson without reflection because I think I jotted something. I wrote something similar here. In the end, you need to know what you've done well. Unlike
Yes.
unlike back home, where it's a thing where you notice that a lot of kids are left out because you feel like if a child is not getting what you've taught, then the child doesn't know it. The child is not smart. The child can be termed an olodo or something, right? And teachers will make complaint, oh, he doesn't know anything. He doesn't. Here, the reverse is the case. So if a child is not doing well, it means there's something you're not doing right because
Yes.
the result, the outcome of the child's learning outcome is supposed to be a reflection of what you've given that child.
Yes.
And that is where inclusion of students, with special needs in the school comes in because that's something that we're not used to back home. So if you're looking at coming to the diaspora, maybe that's one CPD you might want to include in your list of CPDs because whether you're teaching a normal classroom, you still find out that there are kids who need extra support in that classroom. So how then are you able to support them? That's where the reflection piece for you as a teacher comes in. At the end of your lesson, you've taught the kids, you've maybe differentiated instruction. You need to gather information mainly through your formative assessment. Maybe you
Assessment.
give an exit ticket at the end of the class or something. Pick up those tickets, the notes, and then go back to the drawing board, right? What have
Yes.
I done well? What do I need to do? So these are things that go on into planning the next lesson. So just
Yes.
because the curriculum says that when you do, um, once you're done with this particular point A, you must move on to point B. If the kids haven't gotten point A, then there's no point in you moving on to point B. And you will
Mm.
not know if the kids have gotten it if you're not assessing them and going back to reflect on your practice based on the data that you have gathered in the classroom. So
Yes.
reflection is very important. And I remember at the American school, teachers would usually have the data summit and
Yes.
sometimes the IEP meetings. And that is where you sit down with the curriculum coordinator, you sit down with
And
your
you moderate it. Oh my
and you're
goodness.
talking about each student, right? Because you're
Oh,
going to be answering questions. How did this child come to you? Meaning that at the
yes.
beginning of the year, you have done your assessment. So you have that data with you. Then you go through that data to guide you in beginning to plan your lessons to meet each child's need. right? And then when
Mhm.
you come for those meetings, because those meetings happen at different times of the year,
Of the year. Yeah.
you're going to be answering questions like, okay, so what are your observations? What did you observe, like in the first meeting? What have you noticed?
Yeah.
What are the evidences that you've gathered to show that this thing you're saying is really, has somebody come to observe, you know?
Yeah.
Then what strategies have you
Have you
employed?
used to, yeah,
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 so
yeah,
you're listing out all the strategies that you have employed. It means that you're documenting as well. You're reflecting, because when you try one, it doesn't work. Then you need to try something else. Like I had a
Yeah.
kid then that actually was struggling with, he was struggling with remembering things, he was struggling with sitting in the class. Like his attention span was really, really short. And even he had behavior issues. So we would try, because what we try for, maybe after 3 weeks, he might get used to it. It doesn't work again. We need to come up with something else. And
yeah,
that's why you keep tweaking things until you feel like you've been able to get that child. I had one that struggled, and I realized that just teaches as a song. Just sing. She loves to sing. Just sing, and she gets it. But it took me a while to know that that was the
Yeah.
best way to get through. So I started using Jolly Phonics then. I sing,
yeah.
I do the action, and with that, like she got it quickly. But that wasn't working for all the kids. So you need to
No,
know your students, what works for them. And then at the end, you're asking yourself, what are the next steps? So
yes,
this is what I've gathered. These are some of the things I've done. These are the ones that worked. These are the ones that didn't work. So what am I going to do next? And that is where data driven instruction comes in.
comes in.
That is
Oh
something
Lord,
we are lacking back home. Because I mean, how are you just dumping? Imagine you self, you now. You go into a classroom. Sometimes, I remember trying to learn French and I was so frustrated. And at that point, I realized what my kids face, because this teacher just went on and on, but we were on different levels. Some people just finished is it secondary school? Some people just finished university and they did some of, the French they did back in their secondary school was still fresh in their head. This is
yes,
me, almost 20 something years from, and I was just lost. And they expected all of us to assimilate everything at the same rate. And then I understood what it means to be a struggling student, because I have never been a struggling student. So, yes, I don't want to just keep talking, but yes,
that's why I learn. That's why whenever I move to a new country, I learn the language. It's not because I want to learn the language. It's just I want to put myself in that space, that headspace where somebody, because they'll be looking at me as if I'm silly or that I don't know anything. So it's the same way I need to look at my students in the classroom. I learned the new language because I need to understand where they are, empathize with them, especially if I'm teaching them. Imagine me teaching you astrophysics in Yoruba,
interesting.
or imagine let's go, astrophysics is big. Imagine me teaching you how to make jollof rice, but I'm speaking Efik. It doesn't work. I have to link it to something that you understand. I have to understand that way to, if I'm teaching it to ethic people like this, then for you, I have to either bring in pictures, I have to bring in songs, I have to bring in dance so that you can connect and anchor that learning onto something. And this is something that is so big in the diaspora, and we call it differentiated lessons. And you can only know how to differentiate properly if you use your reflection plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are different types of learners. There's the visual learners, there's the kinesthetic learners, there's the audio learners. And you will not find all three in some classrooms. Sometimes you will find all three, and one child will have a bit of each, so that will form another group on its own. It's just, but as long as people know what to expect, then it will not be Greek to them. Because when I came to the diaspora, I didn't even have the teaching knowledge in the first place. So I was learning how to teach. I was learning how to adapt to a new culture. I was learning how to do everything, to be honest. I was learning how to do everything. And people expected me to hit the ground running. They expected me, you submitted your CV, you say you're a teacher, come and teach.
Professional. Show
Come
yourself.
and teach. Teach. Please teach. And I was there saying, okay, show me how to do this. Show me how to do that. Yes, but you said you can teach. Yes, but I'm trying to remember how I was taught at school. Unfortunately, how I was taught at school
It's not the
is
way.
not what they use here at all. So I couldn't even rely on residual knowledge at
Yeah.
all. I had to unlearn everything
And
and then
learn.
learn new things. And that's why today we are bringing all these different things to you guys.
Mhm.
If you are here now, please do us a big favor, just like so that we can share this to other teachers who are out there wanting to teach in the diaspora. I believe that it's a God-given right for people to teach anywhere they want to teach. I believe it's a God-given right for people to travel. And if your craft is teaching and you want to travel, it's perfect. However, we need to help them so that, remember what we said at the beginning of this live, they will not use those people to judge us because we don't know who they are and they're out there in the diaspora, God willing, but people are looking at them and they're making marks that when we come in, they'll use those same eyes to look at us, not knowing that we've attended this live today and we know better, but they don't give us that chance. So please, like, like. Thank you. Now, moving on. Today, we want to try and keep it positive. I know last week you guys were saying, no, 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 we're scaring you guys. We don't want to scare you. But they say a wise man learns from somebody else's mistakes. So today you are all wise. For being here, you are all wise because it means that you want to learn from our mistakes so that you don't make that same mistake again.
Mhm. Yeah.
Now,
And I want to talk about something. Yeah,
yes,
just to buttress what two of you have said. I think coming from Nigeria, teachers from Nigeria, we are brilliant. I will say that for a
very,
fact, very brilliant. But when we come here, because of the teaching methods we use in Nigeria, which I would say more of teacher centered,
yes,
and less of student centered, we tend to just keep on giving, and that is not what is used here. So we can try and channel ourselves. If you're aspiring coming to teach abroad, know that here it is student centered, and then you should try your best, just like the reflection method they talked about. You should try your best to engage your students in the classroom, depending on their capability. I'll give an
yes,
example, which I talked with someone about this today, was on Friday. Now, just like Onyi said about how she used the song to teach her students, and that was what worked best for the students. Now, on Friday, I was opportune to cover for an English class. I had three classes on Friday, but one of the English teachers was not around. So, and that is about teaching in diaspora. You can be asked to cover for teachers that are not around. Even in drama, I've covered for drama. I've covered
yes,
for, yeah, I have to be flexible. So I covered for this English teacher, and then she gave a cover um, note in which with pictures they are sent students with pictures, and then asked them to write a story about one of the picture. Now it has like four pictures. One of someone riding a bicycle, not looking where he was going, and then crashed.
yes.
One was with a bird. The bird stole the man's ice cream. One
Yes,
was
I know
with,
those pictures.
you know that. Yeah. So, but when the students came into the classroom, even the TA told me, Miss, we're going to have a hard day because it was in the afternoon, and afternoon lessons are. So she told me, Miss, it's likely we're going to have a bad day. They were all over, and I tried my best. Okay, I gave them the pictures first. Let's go on and on with it. So, and then something dropped in my mind that this could actually work for the students. I just told them that write your story. Each of you write a story. You have to choose one, write your story, and then you have to make one of the points the teachers noted was it has to be emotional. So I told them that remember your story has to be emotional, and I have to cry about that. So
Yes,
this, yeah, and it actually worked. They started writing, and they said we need to make Miss cry, Miss must cry.
and they will
It
write.
was, they said sincerely the TA went out for a few minutes and then came back and saw that the class was quiet. They were writing. She was amazed. She was like, Miss, what happened? What did you do? I was like, okay. So they kept on writing and they read it for me one after the other. The child that took picked the bicycle. The man that crashed in a bicycle said, "Oh, his neck has broken." I was like, "Oh my god, the legs were broken." I acted being emotional just for them to feel good and
Yes,
for them to act,
yes,
do something in the classroom. So yeah.
yes. Oh my
One.
goodness. It's so nice when you put your emotions into it. And I think, do you guys think, this is when my question comes now. How do you guys think, everybody who's watching now and my moderators, can you guys now imagine a child coming from Nigeria coming into this system?
Yeah. Some kids actually are just like adults. There are people that adapt easily, and there are
You
kids
think,
that
you
struggle.
think, you
No,
think they're adapting easily,
the,
but
the
some people have the mask.
the degree of
Ah,
how we
right.
adapt is different. Like just like personalities are different. Some
Yeah.
people get along easily, while some it might take them a while. Like one of the schools I went to, this particular child came in from the entrance door and he headed for the exit door. And then the exit door was locked. It's a nursery.
Yes.
And I had to ask the teacher after a while, like, how long has this boy been here? He's been there since January, right? And when he headed to the exit door, they got him back and he didn't want any of them to touch him. I was on the corner with another kid, and then he looked my way. As soon as he saw me, the boy ran towards me. And you can guess what race he's from. He ran towards me and he hugged me, and
Finally found someone.
he didn't let anyone touch. In fact, the teacher had to come towards me, and then we started having those conversations. Are they new to the country? What have you tried? And she was really open to, getting ideas. And I told her it takes a while for some kids to integrate. I can only but imagine how this boy is feeling. By the second day I went there, because then she passed all the materials they use
She'll
work
pass it to you. Yeah.
me. And by the second day, this boy was smiling, he was running around, and in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm not a full staff there. So that began to make me feel like, okay, how will representing the race of the children in the staff population impact the children? Because imagine he had someone that he could relate with, at least during
Yes.
that period while he's still trying to adapt to the environment. He can have somebody that can hold his hand and walk him through it. Then with time, he can then gradually begin to, feel free with communicating with the others. So that's why it's important that even while schools hire, they kind of balance out the staff population. It not just only benefits the teachers, it also benefits the students as well.
But
So
how will they hire if the people they're hiring don't understand what they're coming there to do?
yeah, but the truth is,
Question.
I was following a lady. There's this lady I follow on LinkedIn. I can't quite remember her name
But that's
completely.
you.
I
That's
can't
you.
quite
Because
remember her name completely right now, but she's a recruiter. And she talked about how most recruiters want most times they want a perfect staff. But the truth is, there is really no perfect staff.
no.
There are certain qualities that you should look out for. So just because somebody didn't scale through the interview phase doesn't mean that that person is not a potential star when it comes to teaching. The person might have some qualities, but maybe there were some barriers. Maybe the person was nervous, or maybe so many things, right? So I think when they recruit, they should also put some things into consideration. Like, you won't tell
Ah,
me that every black person or every Indian or every, that comes for an interview is bad. There are some
but
of them that you can spot that this person has some potentials. Then you can pick that up for the sake of the students you have in that school, and
I'm
then
going to
groom that
pay.
person into what you want them to be. That is because if these schools have the interest of the students at heart,
Yeah.
right? I am the one in the classroom, and I know how many schools I have been to that I experienced the same thing. Although for this particular kid, his own was like, I went to the toilet. I forgot. By the time I came back, this kid was, in fact, they were like, as soon as you left, He just, that's how, and I felt the thing really touched me so much, right? By the second day, he was laughing. So I'm like, oh, so this boy can even laugh. He was laughing. He was trying to make sounds, but they said he doesn't talk. But this
Yes.
child he was trying to say something. It means that,
Okay.
learning happens when you're comfortable in your environment. If you're not comfortable in
Yes,
your environment
I
as a
agree.
child, then no
But
learning
only
is.
Mhm.
I'm going to be a devil's advocate here. Even though I'm one of the people who champion what you're saying now, my thing is, just because I want black teachers to represent the children so that the children will feel comfortable doesn't mean I'll bring someone in that Ofsted will be at my door tomorrow morning.
Yeah, like I said, there are certain qualities you
Okay.
should look out for. It doesn't have to be 100% when you interview. Like there's this lady, I watched her video. She's a YouTuber as well. I think she's from Jamaica. And she said during her interview, two things. One thing, actually, she said the vice principal then, when she finally started, one of the reasons why she was picked was that part where they say, why did you choose our school? So she took time and she talked about the Ofsted report of that school. The vice principal was wowed because she felt like that was the first person that she was seeing talking about Ofsted, right?
Really?
Mm.
Yes, that was the first person she was ever interviewing that mentioned their Ofsted report, their Ofsted rating. And she felt okay for a school to have
That's one of the first things anybody should do if
Ofsted.
you're going for an interview.
Yeah, people, most people research the website. They talk about the
Yeah.
website, the mission,
And I will tell you, people back home will not know what Ofted is. Until I got
exactly.
here, I don't know what Ofted
Yeah.
is.
So when she
Oh my
mentioned,
God. We have a lot of chapters to bring them up to date on.
so that was what caught her attention, right? One of the things that, because she told her after the interview that, oh, I really like the fact that you mentioned that Ofsted report. It means that you did your research thoroughly. I'm just saying, when you spot, if you're not being emotional or biased during your interview, when you
Yes.
see somebody that is capable, there are questions when you're picking someone's brain, there's a way you ask questions, oh, this person is not 100% zero, right?
Mm.
Maybe putting them side by side, somebody else that's been in that country and doing, but I mean, cut them some slack. This person, a lot of things going on in their head. They are new to the environment, new to the, yeah. So I feel
Okay.
like not looking for 100%, but there are some people you could say, okay, let me just take a chance on this person, or be
Okay.
intentional about balancing out the population of the staff, the race, because it benefits the kids. That's just what I'm saying. Look out for good black teachers, yeah, but balance that population out.
Okay. On behalf of, because I'm in the middle here, for this discussion, I have to say that because of what we said at the beginning, that they will look at that one and they will use it to judge all the ones that look like that one. Some people are worried about hiring that one who is coming in to be the ambassador, but is doesn't even know what SEN is.
Mm.
He has potential, doesn't know what SEN is, doesn't know what differentiation is, doesn't know what reflective practice is, doesn't know what a diverse classroom is.
That,
He has
that's
potential.
not the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's
I'm
not the
playing devil's advocate today because I
that's not the
understand you. I understand
one.
you. But for the fact that we are here on this forum and people are going to be watching this later on, we need to give them a robust argument and we need to give them a balanced argument so that it doesn't look like we're just looking in one direction because we are black. No, we have to balance it so that people can understand when they watch this later on that okay, you need to go and do this so that you can do you get what I mean? So yes,
You
I'm
can
the
you
devil's advocate.
cannot
Mommy is the angel, you are the one in the middle.
you actually have to. That's why I said, you as an individual, you have to, you're not seeing yourself as a black person, you're seeing yourself as a teacher who has come to
Okay.
deliver. Even if someone around you don't even know, that should not be in your brain, because once you feel, oh, because I'm a black person, it means if you don't prepare well for an interview and you don't succeed, you say,
Mm.
oh, it's because you're a black. It's not because you're a black person, it's because you didn't do well,
But
right?
do they know that some people just throw racism out there? I've,
No.
I've I've mentored a few people, and the first thing they say is, "Oh, the person is being racist." No, no, you didn't do your due diligence.
Yeah. So you need to do your due diligence. That's just what I'm saying. The knowledge you just need to watch videos like this, do your research, read books. There are lots of resources. Read books. Learn from people who have gone ahead of you. You
Yeah.
know, there are a lot of free resources online right now. If you're not understanding, ask questions, right? YouTube is a thing now. Like back in the day,
Nollywood is taking up
there
time
was
instead.
nothing. I know how I suffered when I was trying to get my first license. Even some of my colleagues that had it, some of them were not willing to share that information. And
Mhm.
then those ones who were willing to share will be like, oh, you have to travel to the US. And of course, I'm a TA. How much was my salary? I can't travel to the Where's the money to do all that? Right? So I suffer plus prayer and fasting joy for this matter. I'll not be
Of
small.
course,
I was bent on succeeding. So if you're bent on succeeding, trust me, this journey is not, it is
it's
not
not hard.
for the faint-hearted, but it's a journey for people who will not take no for an answer. Will there be days where you question, you ask yourself this thing? I have those days too. Jay and Omomi can attest to that. Even till today, we all do have those days. But then, it's like you can't. For every time you feel like you have to snap back immediately and go back to the drawing board, because you cannot afford to. You must succeed. So
The
you're doing your
kingdom of God suffered violence, and the
talent, take
violent
it by force.
taketh it by force.
But you can only take it by force when you actually have what to deliver. We are here talking about data-driven instruction.
Yes.
You know the word differentiated instruction. You see that differentiated instruction, it seems like it's a simple word. It's actually a big deal. It's a big deal because you're
Even
pulling
white
out,
people struggle with it.
yes, you're pulling out kids every day,
Yeah.
you know, in small groups trying to tackle a few things.
Mm.
You're in the bathroom, you're in the
I'm
bathroom, you're
thinking
thinking about
it's when
what
I'm in the
will I
shower.
do?
When I'm in the shower, I'm
How will I
thinking,
get
oh
through to this kid? And your lesson, there's nothing like you planned a lesson, and that's like you end up not teaching exactly what you planned most times. You
no,
get into the class and you just need to adapt things. Like you need to be learning and developing yourself. That's just the truth. If you're going to succeed here, LCM of the whole talk.
the LCM. Say tell me again, and the HCF. I told someone recently, I said, if you're going to be on this journey with me, I am ready to put 150% into this journey because I know what you will get, what the road ahead looks like. Are you willing to put 150%? Because if I am putting 150% into it while I'm mentoring you, and you're only putting 50%, it will not work. You have to put in 150%. It will get to a point where it will come naturally. But at the beginning, you have to put in a lot of work. And I really commend anybody who is on this live today, because this shows that you are invested in the profession that you are trying to get into. This is not a case of jackpot. You can jackpot with it. Me, I've traveled to 6 continents with this. But if can you imagine if I didn't put in the effort? I would not have left Venezuela. I would have stayed in Venezuela. I'm not saying Venezuela is bad. Venezuela is a fantastic country. It will always be dear to my heart because they opened the door when everybody else was looking at me and seeing rubbish. However, I had to put in a lot of effort. Oh, you did not put in a lot of effort. You did a video for me. You said you started as you were a teacher somewhere else,
Yeah.
and then you went
Somewhere
to another school
as a
and you went down to a TA.
Let
It's
me
not.
bust your bubble. Do you know that
Tell me.
when the owner of the school where I was working
You
initially,
told me.
Nigerian school, heard that I had moved to an American international school to work as a TA, I was like a topic of mockery. Like,
You'd have gone.
he left the school as a teacher to go there to work as a teaching assistant. And I'm like, how I wish he can, of course I know he sees me right now. Like I would make that decision 1 million
Again
times again, because
and again.
working as a teaching assistant at that international school really exposed me to things that I would never have learned if I had been a teacher 1 million years. And that is another thing you guys need to be thinking towards if you spot an international school. Because initially, when I started applying to that school, I was applying as a teacher.
And they won't
I
say
realized
no.
that they were not calling me. So
No.
one day I was having a chat with our computer teacher, and then the guy talked about, oh, there's this school, and the American school, and there they don't employ Nigerians as teachers. I'm like, oh, so what do they employ Nigerians as? He was like, if you don't have an American whatever, they only employ you as a teaching assistant. That day I went back home that night and I applied again
As
as
a
a
teaching
teaching
assistant.
assistant. Weeks after, they called me for the interview. And as soon as I, had that chat with the principal, she fell in love with me. And in fact, she went back. It was the teacher I worked with that was telling me that when the principal that she was very nervous because the teacher she had worked with that was fired for me to be hired was challenging her most of the times because that
Yeah.
one came feeling like, oh, that she was a
I'm a
teacher.
teacher too. What do you know?
She was
Uh,
very nervous when they told her that I had been a teacher as well for 6 years somewhere else. And that the only thing the principal told her was like, no, no, not this person I interviewed. You're going to love her. And that she was thanking me then at the end of her year that, oh my goodness, I really enjoyed working with you. And that was when she shared that story with me. So if you're in a region that has a an international school
please
and you
go.
feel like you've been a teacher there, please step down from your high horse. See how you can get yourself as a teaching assistant into that international school. Also, if funds is something you have, a little bit of funds,
Please
then
volunteer.
also, yeah, you can volunteer. You can volunteer in those schools. They actually also have substitute teachers. If it's an American school, substitute teachers or supply teachers. If it's a UK school, you can apply as a substitute teacher or supply teacher in that international school in Nigeria. Because I also know we had people coming in as supply teachers at the American school. So that's something you can look towards. And if you have money for trainings, think about doing trainings that are tailored for not all these online masters and all this. I did teach now. I know that Jay did a different one, and I know what I learned from that training. It was 9 months, but that 9 months it was worth it. So these trainings, they are not that cheap, but if you
No.
have that money,
Please
you can
go for
think
it.
about doing those kind of trainings because it will open you up to a different perspective of teaching. And if you don't have that, you cannot survive. You won't even get a job safe in this UK. Maybe like in UK, it will be hard for you to get an opportunity. Yes.
I think someone shared with us that she didn't even know about reflection until she went and did a CELTA. For those who don't know CELTA, CELTA is the gold standard for teaching English in the Middle East. If you have a TEFL, they will not hire you in the Middle East. They like CELTA because it's Cambridge. You know that name, Cambridge English Language Teaching. You know now. So the Middle East, they like CELTA. So she said she didn't even know about reflection and reflective practice until she did the CELTA. So just that CELTA opened her eyes to seeing what teaching in another country can be, what other methods are there. Because let's face it, the Nigerian national curriculum is good, but the method of delivery needs a lot of tweaking. It does need a lot of tweaking. And I find that the evidence of it is just the emphasis on, okay, the child knows 1 plus 1. Oh yeah, take the child to 2 plus 2. What else? What else can he do with 1 plus 1? It's the applicable skills that I feel
Yes.
we need to buttress. I'm not saying it's wrong. We just need to buttress it a little bit more.
And that's
Okay,
why you hear when parents come into maybe the UK, you hear them saying things like, that my child is not learning anything in school, that I feel like they're not doing anything. And that's I always tell them that is not true.
they're
One told
learning a lot.
one
A
told
lot.
me I was in the staff room one day. No, I was with some friends, and she said, "Oh, somebody told her that once you just come, they will test your child, and then they will put your child in, this homogeneous grouping that they do." And she now said, that they told her that if your child just enters class of Olodo like this, that means your child will just be Olodo like that. I'll be good. I
but
laughed, and
but
then
do you know something? Many of those children, I've tested some of the children, they don't meet half of their ELGs. Sorry, early learning goals for anyone who's an early years teacher here. If they don't meet half of their early learning goals, you cannot move on. You
yeah,
cannot move them on. So they have to drop them down. The problem I find is that the parents don't know how to support them. Education starts from home, and many of these early learning goals are things that the child can pick up from home. We are used to the child can count from 1 to 1,000. Okay, yes, he's perfect, he's brilliant. But if you don't meet those early learning goals, then they will drop the child back. And if that parent is still expecting 1 to 1,000, you see, there's
Yeah.
not synchronized. And I don't know how we can help them. But being on this channel today, you are positioned to help because you know what's on the other side, and you now know what's on this side. So you're like the bridge for these children. And that's why we're encouraging all of you to please, 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 please come to the diaspora and join us, because these children are, we don't want to lose them. It really touches me a lot that we're losing them. We're losing a lot of them. A lot. The statistics are not promising at all. At all.
Yeah. Sad.
Very. Very. That a woman will sell her house in Nigeria and bring the children here because she wants a better life, or a man and a wife will bring their children here for a better life, and then that's what will happen to them. It is sad, and I try to think about it. If that was me, I don't know. I will feel so sad. I will feel like that, and that's why you hear people sending their children back to Nigeria, because they don't understand the system that they've come into. They
Yeah,
don't understand the system. They only understand that one. And if the child is not making it here, oh yeah, but
but
Loli,
the
Kaka.
thing is, if you don't understand, you ask questions. Because I know I've had to ask my son's school, like, okay, he's been on this band. At what point do you assess him to know if
Because you are in the profession. Many
requirement?
parents don't
And
know
then
what is going on to know
what
what to
if you
ask.
don't know, there are usually meetings. Like I know that like in the primary school, they call for meetings when where they explain what before they start any new teaching them any new thing in math or literacy. They will always call for meetings to let you understand what they are doing next and how you can support, like in my children's school, how you can support. And then that time when you go to pick your child from school, that is also a good time to interact with your child's teacher.
Nobody should talk to me at the end of the day. No,
Yeah. No, it's not with me.
no.
If you build that
Go
cordial
home.
relationship with your child, oh yeah, so I really don't know where this person is at this point. Could you just help me to be able to support them better at home? They'll send you materials. They'll send you things.
Is
And
that at an international school or at a public school?
I'm talking about where my kids are here.
Oh, that
Like,
teacher is very good. Oh.
yeah, yeah.
Mommy,
I've mentioned.
do they call you at the end of the school day that you should come and
No, I mean when I go to pick my kids up, if I
no,
go
no,
to
no.
pick them up,
Yes, you. Mommy, your children are in the UK too. Do they call you at the end of the school day?
Yeah, I don't think when he's talking about calling, is when she goes to the school to pick her.
if I have a concern, I can like, oh, I don't
Right.
get
Yes,
where my child is
yes,
at this.
I also do that. Yeah,
Yeah, could
yeah.
you just
Okay.
I'll just
I-
yeah, not too long
yeah,
chat,
just
but
a quick
yeah,
conversation, just
just
a
a
quick
quick one.
conversation.
Yeah,
Nobody talks to me at the end of the school day. Is a
that's me.
no. Is a no. If you want to talk to me, because I want it written down, I need to cover my back. Send me. I'll say, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just send me an email. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to be
I
harsh.
think it's because you are in secondary schools too. I don't relate with parents at all. No.
Yeah, for
In fact, there
primary
was a
school,
time the
No,
pick
parents
your
taught
kid.
me a lot.
I'm talking about primary. I
Oh,
mean,
primary, you can we relate with the teachers,
Yeah,
not a long chat about
even the
oh
teachers will be
what's
like, oh, she had a good day today.
yeah,
Oh, could you
yes,
tell
yes,
mom what we did at school today?
I'm
yeah.
on a timer. No, that's
Yeah.
my time you're taking. Time is money.
Even
No,
I do it with my, I mean, back international school. And if you feel like, oh, you want to have, like,
international school. Do you know what I do? I will just calmly tell them, oh, do you have 2 minutes? I'm going to send you an email so that you know what we're going to talk about. So that when you come in, you will come in with your. It looks as if I'm giving them time, but honestly, after school, I don't want to be there. I want to go home.
I personally, I don't care whether you want to be there or not. I don't feel like my child. I'm not connecting with what you're doing, and I need you. I sent to the secondary school now. They sent me the full curriculum,
If you
so I
send me
now
an email, if you
am.
send me an email, I will take care of you like a queen. But after school, when I'm trying to watch who is taking whose child, you want to talk to me?
It's
Is
a
a
quick
no.
chat. It's a quick chat. It's a
No.
quick chat. And also another thing is most people that come into the country, they don't track their, or maybe they track their messages from the school, but they don't respond to those meetings. Those meetings they call
That's where the problem is. It's
balance time. If you are not available, your spouse should be available, but you need to be showing up for those trainings, for those meetings, because you
now
need to be,
you've hit the nail on the head,
you need to be
because there's lots and lots of more coffee mornings, there's lots of meetings. Then you now want to hook me after school when I've just had a class of 30 children that want to drive me mad.
guys, please don't listen to me. If you feel you need to ask questions, because most times they'll be like, "Oh, okay, no worries, no worries." It's always a quick chat. Oh, could you just,
That
yes, okay,
do
no
I
worries.
know who's speaking Emily,
I'll,
and do I know
I'll
who's speaking
send you. They're
Ethan
always
when you're
two.
talking to
They're
me?
always two. They're always two. There's a TA
Yeah.
and the
I
teacher.
know that.
Yeah, and
I
then
always tell them
sometimes,
book book a time. I'm yours. If I know
and then
what when you want to see me, I'm yours. I always give them time. It's
those
either
ones
you do
don't
it
talk with
virtually or you do it in person. But if you want to talk to me at
like,
school end of school day, please,
they
you guys. There's
they
some.
even have chats too. I see them pulling out parents. Oh, can I speak with you for
Oh
like
yes,
a
I can
minute?
pull you out,
Do you
but you
understand?
cannot pull me
If you
out.
can pull me out, why can't I pull you out? You're
Yeah.
dead.
Then let's go to the email. Let's
No,
email it.
this one is not email matter, please. It's not everything you send email for.
But it's supposed to be, because at the beginning of the school year, we've sent all the emails. At the beginning of the school year, we've programmed all the coffee mornings. At the beginning of the school year, do you know you
Yeah,
don't
but
write lesson plan, you
you
don't
know
write
that the
reflection.
teachers are not always there in the coffee mornings. You know that, right? Coffee mornings are usually run by the management team, not the teachers. Teachers are in the classroom working with the kids. Yeah, so they are not always there. You are management. That's why you're remembering coffee morning. Teacher doesn't work.
I'm a lowly teacher. I'm not management.
Teacher doesn't do management. Teacher doesn't do my coffee morning.
I'm a teaching assistant, safe.
Teacher doesn't do coffee morning. They only do partnership conference or parent teacher meetings, all those things. That's what they do. And those
In
ones
fact,
don't
I'm a
happen all
nanny. I'm
the
not
time
even a teaching assistant. I'm a nanny now.
as
Say,
well.
no.
Did we take
Okay,
questions
let's
or
look at the
We
questions
are wrapping up.
so that we can.
yeah, let's just
Mommy, don't
read.
end this. Mommy, don't end it abruptly today. Oh, we'll motivate you. Let me speak Spanish to you now.
Let's quickly. I don't think there are much questions here. Yeah, you
Yeah.
I
mostly
saw I
hi.
saw questions on teaching
Oh,
agency.
someone said, can
Mommy,
you get, yes,
mommy has a
someone said,
lot.
can you get supply teaching? Please, can supply teachers be sponsored?
No, no,
No.
you cannot. This is why me I'm advocating. Guys, go on tests, go on e-teach, go on get
No.
permanent roles. Let us break this jinx that whenever we come to this country, we always do supply. No, we're not supply teachers. I've never done supply. Please. We just have to put those CVs properly, get the confidence going. You see all these things we're talking about now, it needs to be at your fingertips, and then you apply. If you cannot go to the hierarchy school, start somewhere and then build it, so that they don't see us as supply all the time. We need permanent roles too. Okay, next one. uh no reflection plan in Nigeria, Abby. Some
They
schools
don't,
do, right?
there are questions here. I don't think so.
I know.
I
When I
think
tried to
they're
force, when I went to
just affirmation.
Nigeria,
I
when
think
I
we should
went to Nigeria a few years
start
back to
working
go
towards,
and,
The
pardon?
maybe
what?
start working towards, maybe once in a while go back to organize trainings, maybe, or maybe online trainings. What do you ladies think? Yeah,
I
we can
like
For teaching?
trainings in any form.
online trainings, because the truth is, After I worked at an international school for a while, there was a day I sat down. I wasn't doing YouTube then. So there was a day I sat down, I wrote all the practices from my Nigerian school, all the practices I had learned, and I was trying to pick, okay, this is what these people can work on, right? And because I have been in the system, if I'm trying to do that training, I'll hit it more than somebody who is over here going there, like maybe a native English person going to train Nigerians. You don't understand where they are coming from, so you won't be able to meet them halfway, right? So I feel like maybe that's something we can, yeah, maybe organize trainings.
I'm
You guys
down.
let us know what you know, online trainings. Let
I'm
us
very, very
know.
available for that.
The thing is, it might come at a price though. Yeah, because we might want to expand, not just that group, that WhatsApp group, like maybe schools as well. If
No,
you're a school owner and you're looking to explore training your staff, maybe you identify gaps in your school and you need to, bring your staff up to speed. Yeah, just let us know. I think that's something we're open to. I just said I just thought about it now. I felt I should just put it out there.
yeah, it's a good idea. Me, I'm ready. I'm down for training. Please, I'm ready to train. Let's train people so that this talk of us not knowing what to do will stop. It winds me up. We know what to do. We just don't understand the culture and
Yeah.
how we fit into the culture. We are fantastic teachers. We are resilient people. We are very brilliant people. We learn. It's something that is part of our culture. Learning is part of our culture. So if we just channel it in the right direction and get the culture part on it, we are going to be up with it. But like to say, J, oh, now I'm a drama person. I like to. I don't like parents coming to talk to me after school. I'm tired. I want to put my mask down. Then you come and talk to me.
I used to enjoy some of those conversations too back
If your
then.
child is in my class,
Yeah, if your child is in my class, yeah.
no. Oh, if your child is in my class, you no 7:30. If you don't send me email before 8 o'clock, I'm not going to my laptop to go and read any email. No, send it at break time or in the morning or after school, after the children have gone.
So some expect you to use your initiative and don't respond kindly when you ask questions about what to do. Yeah. The thing is you can't change how people behave. You can only control what you do. So the question is,
Exactly.
when they react that way, what do you make of it? Do you allow it get to you, or do you
Or do
just,
you find another way? Yeah.
yeah, just be proactive and think of just go with the flow? That's why it's good to observe. That's one quality we don't have here. We don't know when to stop. We don't know when to, you just observe. When you're in an environment, be conscious of your environment, observe the way things are done. And if the person you're with is not accepting of you, don't dwell on that person. Focus on the children and don't allow their negative energy affect you.
Fab videos. I'm one of them, unfortunately. Sometimes when you ask me some kind of questions, I just feel, if I've explained and I've explained, I just feel, okay, maybe I have to be a good teacher and just step back so that I will see how proactive that person is. Especially if I've provided a lot of information. For example, at the beginning of my school year, I have all the parents' emails and I email them daily, daily. This is what we've done today. This is what we've not done. This is what and each child's email is sort of personalized. That's why at the end of the day, when they come and ask me some questions, I just stand there looking at them and I'll tell them, can you please book a time? Because we need to sit down. It's because I need time to go and gather all the things that I've provided for the person so that when we sit down, person is talking, I'm talking, and I'm showing all the evidence of remember when I gave you this? How about this? And I'm smiling. Remember, oh, you didn't see it. Well, I sent it. You should be checking your emails all the time. How about this one? Yeah. Okay, can you please check it from now on? But that's my way. And you only do that when you are confident enough. And that's what people want to see at interview. They need you to be really confident of what you can do and be polite about what you do.
Someone is saying she's interested in the training, but focus should be on upper secondary and not just primary. The trainings we're talking about is these are practices that can be applied to every classroom. If you say you're differentiating instruction from nursery all the way to university or whatever, differentiated instruction applies. So it's now for you to understand the concept, then you now know how to because what works for one kid might not necessarily work for the other kid. So is you understanding the concept and now knowing how to adapt it to meet each of your learners, need. That's the thing. So it's not like a training for primary or secondary. It's a general training that every teacher um should be aware of. Like the reflection thing, every teacher
Mm,
should reflect. It's not specific to a particular class. Yeah.
yeah.
Someone said, someone said we
The
should,
example I gave was for year 10 students. Imagine year 10
yeah.
is one in Nigeria, so
Yeah,
it
and on this channel, we don't only focus on. You'll see sometimes we flit in between. We talk about EYFS, we talk about primary, we talk about secondary, we've talked about college. So what we're saying is, if we want to talk about EYFS, we'll only talk about EYFS on one day. But most of the time, we talk about everybody, what applies to all the year groups. So I hope you guys always come with pen and paper, or maybe you rewatch the videos, because this is really crucial. We are giving you insights, and we've asked you to please write questions on what you want us to cover. You see, this is another thing we've begged. Please, we're begging again. Just write anything that you want us to cover, and we'll come. We'll bring it. In fact, we'll cook the whole kitchen and bring for you guys, so that we don't scare you. So we're trying to encourage you and not scare you. I'm jealous. Okay, let me try mine today.
Time to wrap up. Yeah.
Mommy, mommy's face has changed. She wants to go.
It's been an amazing time here. But we need to know what you guys really want. And that's where the differentiated instruction comes in. We want to differentiate our video.
Remember, guys, on Wednesday we said, has anyone sent in anything? We're like, let's sit down, let's brainstorm, because we brainstorm all the time. Have they sent in anything? No. Okay, let's give them till Thursday. Have they sent in anything? No. This two, was it yesterday? Omomi answered. She was like, no, we'll just do part two. But if you tell us what you want, what questions you have, ah, we'll cook it now. We'll cook it and bring it. In fact, we'll add the honey and salt so that it will be sweet. So please write down whatever you think you want us to cover, and it will help us to plan our differentiated, that word, differentiated lessons for you guys. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode today. Please like, subscribe if you've not subscribed, and share. And yes, Christy, tell me, we will adopt you. You'll be the fourth person on the group. Yeah? Bye.
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 Next
See
week,
you.
I won't play devil's advocate. I'll be sweet.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Bye. Thank you for coming.